how a movie car changed my life. I know this sounds dramatic, doesn't it? A movie car changing your life. Well, it did. Let me tell you the brief story. So I was running a car show, and I had already got a Lotus Esprit, and I've always wanted a DeLorean, but I thought I'll never have one because prices are too high and I just don't know anything about the ownership. Anyway, one came to my show and I was like, oh my god, I've got to have one of those. But I really had no clue on how to do it, because I work a normal job. I do my 9 to 5 basically, and the budget wasn't as big enough to get a DeLorean as I wanted. So it was kind of like I'd already got my classic car, but how do you get a classic car that's of that type and afford to maintain and own it? So it was a case of how do I go about this. But when I spoke to the owner of the car that came in, he happened to mention he was refurbing one and it would take him 18 months. So if I could wait that long, the car could be mine. So what I did, went round there straight away the next day, visited the car, which had an immaculate interior, but was a non-runner. Came over from the States as a non-runner, but the bodywork was really good, interior mint, and I thought, yeah, this is definitely the car. So I thought, I've got 18 months to try and put a plan of action to get the money together to buy this car. And it was a case that I'd never actually crossed my mind that I'd actually build a time machine from it. It literally was just, I was after the DeLorean because of the story. I think it's fascinating and just such a unique car. But we won't go into that. That's for another video. But how it changed my life, well, I didn't think it would. I mean, it's a bit dramatic, a car changing your life, isn't it? But it actually did, because as soon as I got it, the very next day I'd already booked it into a supercar event, and when I got there it was swamped with people around it, and I just couldn't get over how many people love the DeLorean, especially with its checkered history. It was just an amazing sight to see and such a good vibe. I mean, everybody was complimentary about it. There's no one going, oh well, it doesn't do this in 0 to 60, or it's not very fast, or it's a horrible car. There was none of that. It was just, oh my god, there's a DeLorean, you know. And it was just such a good feeling. I mean, no other car, I don't think, can kind of provide that nostalgic look back to the 80s, where a 4-year-old or a 94-year-old would know what it is. It's really, really unique in that respect. Anyway, when lockdown kicked in, I'd been running the car for maybe 3 years as a standard car, but I had put the flux capacitor, the hoverboard and all the bits from the film that I collected inside the car. Well, everybody loved that bit so much, I thought, why not convert it? I mean, I didn't realise with the DeLorean, it's not the done thing to convert your car. So, and the same token, my car was mint condition. So I looked at the project from another angle and I thought, how can I adapt the car so it's got all the kit on, but it could be taken off. So basically I wouldn't damage any of the panels in my car. It literally would be no drilling, everything would be standard, and I could reverse it if I needed to. So I made the project a lot harder than it originally was anyway, by doing this. So lockdown all the way through, yes, I was working. I didn't stop one day in lockdown. I still worked all the way through. I think I actually did more days in lockdown than I did before. So I was still in my 9 to 5 job basically, but I was building parts while the car was just sitting there. So, you know, it just kind of evolved from there. I never thought I'd be building a time machine a few years before. I thought, you know, it's just nothing that had even crossed my mind, you know, even owning a DeLorean. So it just happened that this all fell into place. I seen the owner, I bought the car, run it, and then I decided to go into this. So because everything was like, everybody loved it so much, I thought, perhaps I could have a look at this a little bit further and offer experiences out in it, so I can share my build with other people. And that's where my company Sandstone Production started, because I thought, well, there is like experience days out there already, so I wasn't going to be doing that. It was more of a case, this is like a bespoke private service, so where you can actually experience what the car is like for yourself in your own adventure. And me being so passionate about Back to the Future and the car anyway, I thought, well, why not? You know, I could share my passion with other people that have got the passion for Back to the Future and the DeLorean at the same time. So that's where it all kind of started. And I mean, yeah, it's not all as glossy as it sounds, because I thought, well, first of all, I've got to get the DeLorean running properly. You know, I've got to get it running really, really well. And at the time, it was very patchy with it would start, and there was a lot of issues. You can see my previous videos, but it wasn't the case that, oh yeah, it was perfect and I had never had a day's problem. Far from it. I mean, the prep time I put into getting the car ready before I go anywhere is quite unbelievable. People don't realise, you know, it's like I'm always checking all the levels, the oil, the water. I've got the belts I always tighten. I always check it over, because I'm trying to eliminate the risk factor of it breaking down. So I can spend a couple of hours easy prepping it for just one like hour experience. And yeah, that's where the passion comes in, because I think if you did it on an hour by hour basis, it wouldn't be worth doing. But I do it for a passion side of it, and I want to share that with people, and I want them to see the DeLorean in its full glory as it was on the TV, on the film. And it's so interactive as well, you know, with all the working time circuits and everything. So yeah, when I took it to the show fully dressed up, people say you get a lot of attention in a DeLorean, but when you go as a time machine DeLorean, it is tenfold. And I was like, no, it can't be any more than that. And it is. It's absolutely mad. It's crazy. Everybody stops, paps their horns, wave. It's such a fantastic thing. And I thought, if one car can do that, can like cheer somebody up or make their day and all that, then all the time and effort I put into it is worth it. So I think I've put over 6,000 man hours into this car now, because I've had it 10 years and I have worked on it a lot. It's always been worked on. So I think, yeah, I've definitely put the time in. So that's now, it's kind of drew me into a completely different world, completely different direction to where I was going with my Lotus Esprit doing the classic car events. Now the DeLorean takes me to all sorts of places I never thought I'd be, or locations I'd be at, and meeting some amazing people. It's just fantastic to meet so many people from so varied, so it's just brilliant. So it's kind of like it did change my lifestyle completely. Now I live and breathe it. It's kind of like part of what I do on a day-to-day basis. Sounds dramatic, but it is changed it. And you wouldn't think a car, just a vehicle from getting from A to B, for most people, would do so much change. And it's been an amazing journey so far. And literally I'm only scratching the surface, because I have been spending all my time building Ghostbusters, Knight Rider, Star Wars speeder bike, and I've got hooked into the building side of it as well. So I know the skills that I've got building the DeLorean, I can transfer those to the others. So same thing with the Ghostbusters. It's like I built this car for fun. So I built it for pure fun and enjoyment, because it's not the real car. And it's funny, when I'm online, everyone's going, that's not the real car, it's not really a car. But when I'm out, or it just parked up somewhere, not one person has said that. It's always people online but never one person has said it when they've seen it for real life, well, that's not the real thing, that's not the real car. So that kind of spurred me on thinking, wow, I did this for pure enjoyment for myself, and what pushed the limits of what could be done, and people are thoroughly enjoying it, and the kids are loving it because they're all over it. It's even got the phone number on the side you can call up and it phones Ghostbusters, you know, all interactive, everything works, everything powers up. It's just a joy to see people enjoying these kind of things. And now I'm going to put the same experience into Knight Rider, but it's a case that it's not all rosy. That's why I want to do these videos, because it may sound amazing, and it's like, which it is, but it's not quite straightforward. I mean, the hours that go into it is unreal. My wife hardly sees me. I'm surprised I'm still happily married, because she knows that these projects are not a 5-minute job. They are years. So Ghostbusters has been 3 years, Knight Rider's been 3 years, Speeder Bike's been 1.5 years, and the DeLorean's been 10. So it's kind of like she knows that it's not a 5-minute job, so that's why she doesn't want me to keep going and building these cars. I think the next few could be a bit more challenging, because the time that goes into it, but the experience you get and the joy you get from it, I think, like, I'm not just going to talk about those 3 cars, because you could be building any car. You could be classic, you could be supercar, whatever you're building, that car will bring so much enjoyment to people. And I think that's what will have to drive you through when you start these projects. And it may take you somewhere where you've never actually thought you would go, because you think, oh, it's a car, I'll take it to a car show. But it's not that. It's far more than that. It's like a lifestyle, something that it's hard to describe really, because, you know, people are normally just using cars from A to B, and perhaps some of the car scene passion has gone now, because we've got such high-tech perfect cars that, you know, the old classic cars with their quirks and problems are not being phased out, because they'll still always be there, but not so popular as a car that's got Apple Play and got all the latest navigation and everything. You know, it's got all the toys in the world that you can think of, and ultra reliable. It's not the case for those cars, but it's a case that I think if you're building a project and you've looked at the time it will take to build it, and you've looked at all the money side of it, and everything kind of checks out, and it can be done, then do it, you know, go for it. There's never a right time, I think, for buying these cars. I've never been in the right place, never had the money right to say, right, let's do this project, and then have a shed load of money in the bank that I can actually use to make the project happen. That's not reality for me, unfortunately. So it has always been the case of doing the work myself to save the money to buy the vehicle, or to fit the part. You know these fitting parts, you know, £100 here, £200 there, £400 here, £800 there, that soon adds up. So doing it myself has took all of that out of the equation, so I can actually save that money and put that money elsewhere. So like I say, I don't think I've been in the right time at the right place for any of the projects so far. So it's a case that I just do it. And it somehow pans out. I don't know how, but it kind of just it happens. The project, it's like a snowball. You know, you push the snowball off the edge of the cliff, and that's your purchase, and then it goes bigger and bigger and bigger, the ball. And I think that's kind of how the budget goes. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger, but you kind of squeeze your finances around it and work around that problem. I don't know how. I can't really say for sure, because even when I add it up, I think, how did I do it for that? and the only way I can think I did it was doing it myself. You know, let's say for a spray job for Night Rider, for instance, a decent job would have been 10,000-12,000 maybe. I did it a fraction of the cost for that because I did it myself. I did all the prep work, I did the rust, treated any rust that needed to be done, or didn't need to do any welding luckily, but I literally did everything. So that's how I made these projects a reality. So hopefully I can hear your comments down below on how you got on and where you are in your projects, and what are you thinking of building, or have you got one at the moment? But yeah, leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you soon.